Hello, and welcome to today's session where we will discover what is a function. This session is brought to you by Algebra for Adults, and today you will discover what you must know and understand on this important concept in math. So let's get started with some terms. We're not going to go over them here, just a quick look at them, and we will move on to the next slide where we define a relation. A function is a special type of relation. So what's a relation? A relation is any set of ordered pairs. So here's an ordered pair. Here's a set, the pair of numbers 10 and 100. The first number 10 is called a domain. The second number 100 is called the range. Every relation has a domain and a range. Here's an example where you find the domain and range of a problem. Here's the problem. Find the domain and range of these ordered pairs. You see the ordered pairs, so all you need to do is separate them. First, the domain is the first component, so I'm going to separate each one of them out and list them. And then I'm going to take the second guy, the second component, put that out and list them in set notation. And that's how you do this type of problem. Next, we're going to move on to what is a function. Now that we know what a relation is, a function is a special type of relationship between two sets called x and y. A function has a dependency that shows you that something depends on something else, right? So we're going to move to the diagrams to explain it better. A function, when you have a function, each element, each number here in this set called x has an arrow that points to a number in this set called y. This is called an assignment. 1 goes to 5. 5 goes to 25. In a function, there's only one arrow going to one number. Okay? That's what makes it a function, as opposed to just a relation. Okay, these are the values over here. Remember, this is the domain, this is the range. Down here we have some other names for these terms listed for you. Domain, x is often called the domain, the input or the independent variable. Y is often called to the range, the output, or the dependent variable. Down here we have an example of function notation. This is how they write this to let you know that it's a function instead of just a normal equation. This function is called f. The input is an x, and the output is 5 times whatever the input was. That's how you can understand this here. Now in this example here, they show you that if I put in a 5, I'm going to get out a 25, just like we have up here. And that, for instance, this could be an example of how much money you make if you were getting paid $5 an hour. Now we're going to look at our last example problem where we're just going to quickly determine whether A is a relation or a function, and B whether it's a relation or a function. In A, we look at, we're just going to list them out again with a little diagram. You notice the diagram. One arrow from the domain goes to one number in the range. Even if the arrows go to the same number, each one only has one arrow. Unlike this example, where one of the numbers in the domain has 2 arrows and it's going to 2 different numbers, so you don't know which one it goes to. This is not a function. Please understand this distinction. Finally, when you make a graph, a visual representation of a function, you can determine whether it's a function or not by doing the vertical line test. You must know the vertical line test. A vertical line test is something that the graph will either pass or fail. So here's the graph, this squiggly thing. I'm going to draw a vertical line right here. You see that? It only hits the graph one time. No matter where I go, if I draw the line over here, it only hits one time. Over here, where it says not a function, you notice this same line, it hits the graph in 2 different places. 2. Over here, 2. If it hits the graph in more than one place, it's not a function. Please understand that. And that brings us to the end of today's class.